Police officers always have a tough time with different crimes. Sometimes, however, police officers responding to an emergency call may come across something totally different from what they usually do. So today, we count down the top 4 paranormal events witnessed by the police. Number 4. Soul Collector. Lieutenant Frank Morra, now retired, was one of the police officers tasked with sifting through the rubble of the World Trade Center towers in September 2001. It was only in 2013, while conducting interviews for a 9/11 related book called Hallowed Ground, that he remembered encountering something paranormal during his long hours of work at the site. One of the detectives, who was also being interviewed, mentioned hearing about a ghostly tale of an old Red Cross worker that appeared to some of the officers while they were working. The woman tried to serve them coffee and sandwiches, as was the Red Cross duty during World War II. Upon hearing the detective talk about this, Morra remembered seeing a black woman dressed in a Red Cross uniform appearing several times while he worked. She held a tray of sandwiches and disappeared every time he strained to get a better look at her. Several police officers who were also stationed at the site after the attacks claimed to have seen large shadows and black masses among the debris. After seeing a medium about his experience and hearing that he may have witnessed a soul collector guiding spirits to the hereafter, Morra truly believes that this is what he saw. Number 4. Capitol Theatre Haunting. Sheriff's Deputy Dave Murphy was a complete skeptic when it came to the paranormal. That is, until he worked security in the Capitol Theatre in Salt Lake City in 2012. Murphy was a guest on the sci-fi TV show Paranormal Witness, in which he detailed exactly what he and other officers had experienced during their time at the theatre. Murphy rubbished all claims of the paranormal until he himself saw dark shadows moving through the walls one night. Then doors started to slam shut on their own while no one else was in the theatre. Next, Murphy heard spectral voices and music, and eventually the spectre itself appeared in the middle of the stage. On one occasion, Murphy even saw a woman dressed in clothing dating back to the early 1900s. He claimed to have seen her walk right past him in the control room where he worked. Murphy also went on to say that eventually the shadows he saw the first time around wanted him out of the building and physically attacked him. Blair Fuller, the administrative manager of the Salt Lake County Center for the Arts, also experienced the paranormal goings on in the building for himself in the form of an elevator opening by itself and file doors opening and closing. Fuller believes that the main culprit haunting the theatre is the ghost of a 17-year-old usher who died in a fire at the theatre in 1947. Number 2. Silbury Hill Beings. An unnamed off-duty police sergeant was driving along a road near Silbury Hill in July 2009 when he saw what looked like 3 forensic officers dressed in white coveralls standing in a field and staring at something on the ground. Stopping to investigate, he noticed that all 3 of the figures he was seeing were over 2 meters tall and had blonde hair. While approaching them, he also heard what sounded like static electricity reverberating throughout the field. When the officers noticed him, they took to their heels and sprinted out of sight faster than any human would be able to. According to the sergeant, the 3 beings were inspecting a crop circle that had appeared in the field a few days earlier. After experiencing further paranormal activity, the sergeant decided to contact UFO experts, which led to crop circle researchers Andrew Russell and Colin Andrews investigating the incident on behalf of the terrified officer. The Wiltshire police station had no comment on the sighting, stating that it was a personal matter because the sergeant was off duty at the time of the incident. Russell and Andrews, however, are convinced that the policeman saw something out of this world. Number 1. Surveillance camera figure. Officer Carl Romero was spending a relatively quiet Saturday evening on duty at the Espanola police station in New Mexico in 2014, keeping an eye on the several surveillance cameras installed around the place. Things were going well until he spotted something strange on one of the cameras pointed at the entryway to the station. Scrutinizing the visuals on the camera, Romero initially thought that the bright white blob he was looking at must be an insect until he spotted the legs below it. He realized then that he was looking at what he could only describe as a ghostly figure. Since the entryway to the police station is blocked off with a gate and secured with an alarm system, Romero knew it could not be a human figure that was showing up on the footage. When he reported what he saw to his superiors the next day, most of them believed him. Some even came forward with their own scary experiences, saying that they often heard strange, unexplained noises in the building and had experienced weird sightings in the lobby as well. Romero relayed his story to Coa TV, saying that he believes in ghosts and thinks that the ghostly figure he saw may have something to do with the unsolved murders that have taken place in the area over the years. So that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you've enjoyed it. As always, make sure to tune in again tomorrow for another brand new episode.